to enjoy. Glad you're with us here on this Friday morning. Barry is out today with Troy Athletics, so we will be bringing it to you here along with Gurn Sr., who will be hopping on here momentarily as we continue to discuss the SEC basketball tournament up in Nashville. Also, of course, we have spring football that's going on as well. A whole lineup of guests today here on the program, live from Stivers Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Prattville, Alabama's #1 volume CDJR dealership for all of 2025 is right here in Prattville. Glad you're with us. I see Gurn Sr. enjoying some coffee. I guess that's what it is here early this morning, as he's in a remote location, I believe, headed to the SEC tournament today. Is that correct, Gurn?
I'm en route. Can you hear me okay, John?
Yeah, we got you. Sounds great.
Right. We had a little technical difficulty getting this thing set up when on the remote. We're headed, started my day in Montgomery yesterday, played in a little pickleball tournament in Opelika last night, and
nice.
stayed in Birmingham and en route to the game at noon between the Florida game. So very excited to be getting up there and seeing a little basketball action. This is my time of year.
Well, I'm going to get you to share our story with our audience later today about your history with the SEC tournament. It's quite interesting. I think people will certainly enjoy it. And you're right, Gurn, just jumping ahead before we recap last night. What a slate today up in Nashville. Man, I'm telling you, you're going to see some good ones. Kentucky and Florida tips things off today at 12 noon. I mean, people are still scratching their head that Kentucky played in day one in game one, but here they still are on Friday taking on top seed Florida. What a great game to kick off the Friday session. And then how about an in-state rivalry? Tennessee and Vanderbilt at 2:30. I know there's a little Vanderbilt connection there with the Gurn family.
How about sporting the colors this morning?
Yeah, I see that. How about that? Show your goal.
And they played last weekend. So I hate to, John, you're probably right 95% of the time.
Okay.
I was listening to the show about, you said there wasn't going to be anybody there for Kentucky in that first session. Kentucky travels. And here's the reason. You can't, it's like Alabama football back in the day. You couldn't get a ticket.
Yep.
So you can't get a Kentucky ticket. So people will drive 3 or 4 hours just to see the team play. And this is the opportunity to do that. So Big Blue's going to be there. Big Blues, they've been there, they're going to be there.
Yeah.
And they take over a place. My favorite Kentucky story was Gurn Jr. and I were in New Orleans. He was a ball boy for the SEC tournament. Vanderbilt's playing Kentucky, and we'd gone to have a little breakfast down on St. Charles, and we're riding the streetcar back up to the Superdome.
Yeah.
And I look over, and there's a good old boy from up in the hills of Kentucky, and he had a fresh, large Kentucky tattoo on his calf.
Oh,
and
okay.
I was like, man, sporting it. He goes, oh man, I bleed it. This is my life. And I'm like, there you go.
Yep.
Go Cats.
Go Cats. Well, I definitely, with it being Friday, they've won a couple of games. Their fans are feeling a lot better about themselves. That's going to be an incredible atmosphere. Florida, 10.5-point favorite in that opening game today in Nashville at Bridgestone. As I mentioned, Tennessee and Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt a slight 1.5-point favorite against the Vols in a game that was played a week ago. Number 25, Tennessee. Number 22, Vanderbilt. Two top 25 teams. And then, of course, the night session. Ole Miss taking on number 15, Alabama. The Tide, a 10.5-point favorite in tonight's game. And then Oklahoma against Arkansas to wrap things up tonight. Arkansas, a 6.5-point favorite. Watch out for OU. This is a team that I think is getting a little confidence. They're trying to scratch and claw their way into the NCAA tournament. I think Arkansas is playing really well, too. That should be a really good game. I will say this, though, Gurn, as we kind of look at all the games today. I watched Georgia and Ole Miss last night. Neither one of those teams are any good. I was amazed at just the lack of fundamental basketball on the floor when those two teams played last night. Ole Miss got a big lead. They couldn't hold on. Georgia scratches and claws their way back, but the Rebels do hold on at the end to advance to take on Alabama today. You see the Tide, a double-digit favorite. I can see why.
Well, you know, there's a reason Ole Miss is under 500. They are not a very strong team. They've got some good complementary players. Dia's a good player.
Yeah.
They've got a couple of okay guards. Everybody thought he would do better. Beard would do better at Ole Miss. You know, he came from Texas Tech after having a little bit of personal issues. And I don't know. I just don't get the Mississippi schools just aren't spending like they have to get good players. It's tough.
Yeah,
you got to spend to, I mean, coaching can only go so far.
Yeah.
So I'm frankly, as an Alabama fan, I'm glad that we're not playing Georgia because
I'm with you.
Saw what happened last time. I really think Alabama, if they play their game, would have beat Georgia because they were just out of their mind. I mean, they were, as my wife said, she just like, these people they're like on another planet. They were hitting everything. We were kind of hanging in there, coming back a little bit, and they just went crazy. So, I mean, and on a neutral site, I don't really see that happen. You saw that last night. They couldn't hit shots.
Yep.
And when you don't hit shots, you get runouts from like Ole Miss, and it was, you know, but did you watch the whole game?
I did not watch the whole game. Basically watched the last 10 minutes of the game.
But no, you watched the last 2 minutes.
Yeah.
That game lasted forever.
That it did.
And we were driving, and so I was listening. I could not believe it kept going on. And this is interesting. On Sirius XM, you had, I don't know who the announcer was, but Brian Passing, the Alabama color, was doing the color.
Oh, wow.
And then in the Oklahoma game, you had Chris Stewart doing it with Vanderbilt's color guy.
Oh,
so that
interesting.
That was just kind of, it was kind of, I said, damn,
yeah, I didn't know that.
Passing.
Well, you know, it's interesting, Gurn, because I saw Chris Stewart sitting behind the TV guys yesterday. They went to a timeout. They're showing the TV guys. They're talking about something. Saw Chris sitting behind him. I thought, wow, he sure is there early. Did not realize that he was actually doing one of the games.
He's picking up an extra check. You know.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. I'm aware of that.
Some people might do TV as well. I don't know. You know.
I have heard that. You're right. Well, recapping yesterday, and Bob from Pike Road kind of hits on it here, Gurn. He said, if you missed the Auburn radio broadcast of the last 11 minutes of the game yesterday, you missed radio gold. He says a bunch of crybabies blaming the refs, calling the refs cheaters, clown show, the whole deal. I don't know if I'm going to agree all completely with that, but I will say I'll agree with this. It was radio gold. I think Andy was he was at the top of his game yesterday. The color analyst guy, Randall Dickey, Auburn could have been down by 100. He still thinks they got a chance to win. You got to love the enthusiasm and the loyalty for the Auburn basketball program. But just in the end, it wasn't enough as Tennessee beats them by 10, 72-62.
Hey, what do you think about Stephen Pearl after the game saying we're still in?
Well, no. I know they were a Final Four team last year, and if Duke was in Auburn's position today, Duke would probably get in. But let's face it, Auburn doesn't have the pedigree or the history of a Duke. I just don't see it. I know that win in Gainesville by 9 is huge, but the way this team's unraveled down the stretch, I'll ask you this, Gurn. Should they get in over Miami of Ohio?
Okay, so, all right. You know I'm a basketball junkie, okay? I will watch any game anywhere if I have the opportunity.
Including the Pontiac Silverdome against Kansas and Vanderbilt.
Way to rip the Band-Aid off the wound. Last Friday night, I knew it was on, and I caught it. And I caught it early. It was the Miami of Ohio Ohio University Bobcat game
All right, okay.
in Athens, Ohio, which is where OU is. And the place was lit. As the young folks say, it was lit. And
It was
the
lit,
OU
okay.
people, they hate each other, and it's MAC basketball at its best. And so I watched the whole dang game.
Wow.
And it was one of the best games I've ever seen. It's in a top 10. And so they're trying to go 31-0. They get a lead. It comes back. It goes to overtime. The Bobcats have a guy that can't miss. They're scoring. I mean, it's like 105 to 100. I mean, it's just one of those great games. And Miami wins on the last bit and stays undefeated. Then they lose. They lose last night to UMass. Frank Martin. I don't know if you remember Frank Martin.
Oh, yeah.
South Carolina. He's
sure.
the coach at UMass. And if you can get the soundbite from Frank, he says when asked about whether Miami of Ohio should be in without the qualifier, automatic qualifier, he says it would be an embarrassment, and he says it like 10 times. So I
heard that this morning. I was listening to Satellite coming up here. I think Dusty and Danny, and they played that clip, and I did hear that. Speaking of sound bites, Gurn, I do have a sound bite of Bruce Pearl and some of the things he had to say to the officials yesterday in Nashville as his son got teed up. But due to decency standards, I don't think we can play it here this morning because he dropped a couple of 4-letter bombs, some choice ones. As a matter of fact, I didn't know Bruce was still coaching, but you would have thought he was. The rant he went on yesterday in Nashville as his son's team got beat by 10, and they're hanging on for their NCAA life.
So, John, it's a new day. It's a new era. Players getting paid.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I always deferred in the past. I took players' sides, okay? Maybe they're getting a little bit, maybe they're getting a car here or there, but they're not making jack.
Okay.
And I would take their side. You can't take their side now when they're making bank and they're not performing, or they're acting like they are. I was at the Vandy Auburn game. I watched Keyshawn Hall get teed up. I watched him cuss out Stephen Pearl. I watched Stephen Pearl bench him for the last half of the game. I watched him get suspended after that. You can't get paid that kind of money and have that kind of attitude. The body language he showed the whole game was crap. Pettiford, came back great. He doesn't get drafted. Maybe he does, but I can't imagine he makes the first two. He'll be a free agent. I mean, he'll be gone. Now, I think he'll probably go somewhere else and make some more money because I think I don't know that he makes a team next year and gets.
Well, it's interesting. I got a text from someone we both know who was at the game yesterday in Nashville, Auburn, and Tennessee, and he sent me a text saying sideline problems. Murphy Hall and Stephen Pearl are all fighting with each other on the bench, big time. So there were some disagreements going on yesterday in the game. So says my source who was there watching it with his own two eyes. So that kind of goes in line with the same thing you were just saying.
Keyshawn Murphy is a dude. He is a player. And I'm sorry, I don't know if he has any eligibility left. If he does, Alabama needs to cut him a check because that guy would fit perfectly. He is a dude, but he may be done. I mean, he came over from Mississippi State, and he used to light us up when he was at Mississippi State. So he's a player.
So I guess the question before we move on, with your basketball expertise, does Auburn make the NCAA tournament?
Oh, hell no. The question becomes, do they accept an NIT bid?
Well, I think that's a great question.
And in today's – and look, 2 years ago, the answer would be absolutely. Now you got players who are, you're paying them, and you're paying them to play. They need to play. If the school says we're gonna go play in the NIT. Now, everybody used to use the NIT, said, all right, we're going to get ready for next year. It gives us a chance to have some success, go out, have a couple of games at home where, they'll be the home team all the way through if they do it. But I mean, I could see them not doing it, but
yeah,
I mean, it would be an embarrassment to the SEC if they didn't.
Yeah, and I wonder, what obviously it's his first year, but certainly he's under the microscope. Fans aren't happy. They don't like the schedule, the win-loss record. They don't like some of the things they've seen from these players. In talking to some of our insiders at Auburn, they've told us that maybe of the current roster, only 4 or 5 will be back next year. The others will be moving on.
That's the way it is everywhere. You can't say Auburn. I mean, Alabama's roster will turn over. Look, I thought it was great last night. I was listening to Sirius XM radio. I was listening to Oklahoma play Texas A&M. Chris Stewart is calling the action. Rylan Griffin shoots a ball, misses it, and Darian Reed gets the rebound.
Oh, wow.
Those are 2 guys he called the name of when they played at Alabama. And so you never know.
You're right.
I mean,
yeah.
You're
right.
Where's whoever going to be? So
Kentucky beat Missouri yesterday, 78-72. It was Ole Miss over Georgia. We mentioned 76-72. Alabama takes on the Rebels at 6 o'clock tonight. And Oklahoma beat Buckyball by 20, 83-63. If you didn't stay up for the nightcap, that was a good one as well. Bucky McMillan's team kind of cooled down a little bit. All right, let me tell you what we got going on today. Gurn Sr. sitting in for Barry, who is traveling with Troy today. Gurn's going to be in with us, and we're certainly excited about that. At the top of hour number 2, in about 40 minutes, Stephen M. Smith from Touchdown, Alabama, a fan favorite. Stephen's going to join us. Alabama, their 4th spring practice is today before they break for the spring holiday. Stephen M. Smith will tell us what he's heard, what he's seen with the Crimson Tide during spring football. Ralph Michaels at the bottom of hour number 2 from Wager Talk and the Gold Sheet. And we're going to also check in with our friend Brian Reynolds, who's the director of golf at Cambrian Ridge down in Greenville. Going to be a great weekend for golf. Of course, the Players' Championship going on down at TPC. We'll get you updated on that as well. And, of course, the weather's turning. Even though it is a little chilly today, it's going to be great over the weekend to go tee it up. Gurn, I am here at Stivers Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, Alabama's #1 volume CDJR dealership for all of 2025. And here's the reason why. New 2025 Ram 1500s up to $20,000 off MSRP or 0% APR for 72 months, and so many to choose from. Also, new Ram 2025 heavy-duty trucks up to $12,000 off MSRP or 0% APR for 36 months. And both of these vehicles are backed by America's best full-size truck powertrain limited warranty, 10 years, 100,000 miles. Just a few of the great examples of what you'll find here at Stivers CDJR in Prattville. We're going to tell you so much more about it today as well. Going to take a quick time out. When we come back, more on this Friday edition of Longshore and McKnight. Get in on that River Region Straw chat line. It's hopping this morning. We want to hear what you have to say as well. Quick break, back right after this.
Located just 8 miles north of Alabama's state capital, Capitol Hill features 3 18-hole championship courses. With more than 1,500 acres of golf and nature, the pure magnitude of this facility is amazing and allows each course to be drastically different from the others. Capitol Hill also features an innovative 360-degree driving range, 400 yards in diameter. Capitol Hill offers a fully stocked pro shop with the latest equipment and apparel. Great food and beverages in the clubhouse can be enjoyed both before and after your round. Get your group together and hit the trail. Go to rtjgolf.com/Capitol Hill for tee times and more information.
Hey, bro, weirdest thing is happening at the game. This guy sitting next to me says, "You're our good luck charm. Every time I crack a Bud Light, we score a touchdown." Now his entire family wants to buy me Bud Lights. I think I'm some kind of a football prophet. Talk soon. The team needs me.
Anything for Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Stock up today. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2025 Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Marguerite's Exquisite Jewelry is Central Alabama's best-known jewelry store. Their location at 8163 Vaughn Road in Peppertree is conveniently located adjacent to Chappie's Deli. At Marguerite's, they have every jewelry item imaginable because they make it. They really make it. From rings, necklaces, bracelets, earrings, and much, much more. Marguerite's can also repair, clean, and rework any jewelry item that you want to bring back to life. Whether you're on a budget or have no budget at all, Marguerite's has all types of jewelry for everyone. Go by and see them today or call 270-0074.
Okay, welcome back in, everybody. We are here live at Stiver CDJR in Prattville. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Tell all your friends. Heck, tell all your enemies. Hit the like, hit the subscribe button. Check out Longshore and McKnight on Yellowhammer News and yellowhammernews.com. The Yellowhammer News Facebook page. So many people watching us there. Check us out there as well. Also, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, X, Spotify, Apple Tunes, wherever you get your podcasts, wherever you view them. Just type Longshore and McKnight in the search bar. We will pop up and it'll come up every day. It'll find out what your patterns are, and you'll never miss an episode. You'll get notifications. Longshore and McKnight. Hit the like, hit the subscribe button. So you're hoping, I think you said you're not in Nashville at the moment, but you were hoping to be there by the first game at noon today.
Yeah, headed there. Gonna leave after the show, get on the interstate, pop our car at the hotel, and then Uber down to Bridgestone and watch some games. It's really a good place to watch a tournament game. Some of these tournaments are in big boxes like Superdome or it was in Atlanta. That's no good. I mean, if you're on the sidelines, that's great. But if you're in the upper bowl, you're not even in play. But Bridgestone, because it's a hockey arena, it's really, really good. All right, John, I know you love meaningless information.
Yes.
And you get into minutia. Our crack reporter, Gurn Jr., has identified something that I haven't seen reported on with the SEC.
Oh.
This is critical.
Okay.
Prior years, sponsor of the SEC tournament was Sunkissed Orange.
Okay. All right.
All of a sudden, it is now changed to Crush. We don't know what happened. I don't know if there was a blow up with media. Maybe you have some information, but this is something that is gone unreported as far as I could tell.
I'm not familiar with Sunkissed being a sponsor, but I did see the Orange Crush logo yesterday.
It used to be Sunkissed.
It caught my attention.
Get free Sunkissed.
Caught my attention. I will say this now that you bring it up. At SEC Media Days, Dr. Pepper's been a big sponsor of college football. And at every SEC Media Days for the last 5 or 6 years, there's always a couple of coolers around for media to go get refreshments and things like that. And it's full of Dr. Pepper, Diet Dr. Pepper, vanilla cream Dr. Pepper, all these flavors that Dr. Pepper makes. And there would also be a Sunkissed in there.
I think Sunkissed is a Dr. Pepper product.
Yeah, and so I'm thinking, if they're not with Dr. Pepper anymore, did Dr. Pepper take over Crush? I will say this, as a youngster, I was more of a great knee-high guy. Orange soda didn't do it for me, and I can't tell you the last time I've actually tasted an orange soda, but that's interesting, an Orange Crush.
Small town people like us, we were stuck with Fanta.
Yeah, Fanta. Yep, Fanta, knee-high.
That's lower end of the soft drink market.
How about Grape-A-Co?
Czech Cola.
Czech Cola
would be one as well.
Grape-A-Co was big back in the day as well. Which is better, Sprite or 7-Up?
I'm going to go one better than that. As a fat child, I'll go one better than that. Which is better, Fresca or Tab?
Ooh, I love a
Tab.
Tab.
That's what I was stuck with.
They quit making it. Quit making Tab.
Because you got cancer.
Yeah.
Tab has some product. I'm not saying that. Please, sponsors, don't say that.
Sure. Yeah.
That was purely in jest. But Tab, had that bite to it.
It did.
Now I still have Fresca in the refrigerator at work.
Oh, you can buy. Yep, you can buy Fresca today, and Fresca comes in multiple flavors as well. Looks like everybody's adding flavors to the original formula.
Well, the best is peach. Peach Fresca is the best.
Peach Fresca. Can you mix that with anything, or is it just good on its own?
People who are professionals can mix anything with anything. So, depending on the time of day.
Yeah, true. Good point. That's exactly. Remember Upper 10? That was kind of a Sprite type.
All right,
soda.
I'm going to tell you, this is going back in the Gurn Senior Archives. My father, we'll talk about this later because of the game. My father was the head cheerleader at Tennessee, but he became a ardent Vanderbilt basketball fan, and that's how we got into it. My brother played golf there.
Yeah.
So we were huge fans, and so he got to be really good friends with the coaching staff. And there was a guy that they were recruiting to play basketball, and he played at Lakeside in Eufaula, which was AISA or Alabama Private School, small.
Yep.
So we drove over to Eufaula to watch him play. And in their machine, they had Kick. You remember Kick?
I vaguely do remember that.
It was a cola, and it had like 28 grams of caffeine. I mean, it was like the Mountain Dew of colas.
Okay. All right.
So this guy actually went to play baseball. He ended up going to play baseball at Vanderbilt, and then came back to Troy to play basketball.
Okay.
And you will remember his name because he's the one. His name's Robbie Lang, and he was he's a coach at Coastal, and he was with Cliff, and he left Auburn. You remember you have your little book of things.
Yeah, somebody said he was Cliff. Yeah, he was Cliff's bag man. Somebody told me one time.
But he ended up coaching at Coastal, and anyway, he was a hell of a high school basketball player.
Yeah.
But that's Kick Cola at the Lakeside drink machine.
With
a fat 10-year-old? It was like nectar to the gods.
Yeah. Was that Rob E. Lang or Robbie Lang?
I think it was Robbie. It's Robbie.
Robbie, okay.
He was, he could light. I think he had 40 that night. We went to see him play.
Man, I hadn't heard that name in forever. Man, Barry would get a kick out of that.
Well, he was at Auburn when Barry was. He and Barry were at Auburn at the same time.
Yeah, so. Robbie Lang.
And he's a Troy guy. So.
Theotis says, what about Jolt Cola? I remember Jolt
That's
Cola.
Another one. That'll get you going.
Yeah.
All right, John.
Sundrop.
This is more information than you need to know.
Okay.
I got a new assistant at work. She's great. Her first recommendation was to get a Nespresso machine.
Huh.
Okay, not a Keurig, but a Nespresso. So it makes a little espresso and a little, that much. So I make a little espresso and I add it to my Keurig, and it will jolt your ass up in the morning.
Huh. I need to know that.
It gets you going. So.
We had this conversation last night. It's amazing that you bring this up. Some hotels will put, instead of a coffee machine in the room, they put these espresso machines in the room. I'm thinking, who wants to drink that? I wake up, I want a cup of coffee. I got to go down to the lobby to get a cup of coffee. I'm in Tuscaloosa.
Put the little mini Keurigs in there too.
Well, they're mini espresso deals.
See, John,
and I don't like that.
Here's the difference between you and me. Okay, you're staying at the Ritz. I'm staying at the Hampton Inn in Centerville. I mean, I'm a Hilton Diamond because I stay at the Hampton Inn, every exotic Hampton Inn there is.
Okay.
In the United States, and if I'm ever feeling fancy, I'll go to a Hilton Garden Inn.
Now you go. Well,
but they don't always have free breakfast, so that's.
To be totally accurate, I was actually staying at an AC hotel by,
what's the
by Marriott, which is about the same thing as a Hilton Garden Inn.
No, they're trying to be fancy with that.
That was there's no fancy hotels in Tuscaloosa. The fanciest one, I couldn't get in because the Auburn basketball team was staying there last weekend when they played Alabama.
Did they stay at Saban's or are you talking about?
They stayed at the Alibi. And I'm thinking, wait a minute. They got a budget where they can stay here? Well, what's going on? But They were. So I got.
Hey, did you?
I was
get
down
caught
the
in that
street at the
storm?
AC. What's that?
Did you get caught in that storm, or had you already gotten home?
I'd already gotten home. Yeah.
Boy,
Yeah.
it was bad. We were up there for a function and driving back down 82. I was white knuckling it.
Whoa. Well, yeah, we'd gotten home a little earlier. Heck, we had a storm come through here a couple of nights ago. Actually woke me up, believe it or not. That usually doesn't happen. But, yeah, come on. Put the coffee in the room. I don't need espresso shots and small little cups. I want a real cup of coffee. And then I got to get up and I got to, comb my hair and put the clothes on I had the night before to go down to the lobby to get some coffee and bring it back up to the room. Very inconvenient.
I had a moment 2 weekends ago that would make you proud. Our firm was staying at the Roosevelt in New Orleans for our meeting, and they have the honor bar thing. And what I didn't realize, it's computer based. So if you pick it up and take it, they charge you for it. So I picked up some mixed nuts, and then I was like, oh my God, I got to put it back in there just so I don't get charged. I didn't, I was just kind of eyeballing it.
Sure. Yeah. Well, the reason for that, Gurn, is I've told this story a time or two, and it happened to me in real life. I was in Los Angeles, Pasadena particularly, when Alabama played UCLA to open up the 1999 season, I believe it was, maybe 2000. Everybody was excited. The Tide was going back to the Rose Bowl, hadn't played in who knows how long. And they were the number 3 ranked team in the country preseason. Freddie Millens was on that team, ran a punt back that game, the only bright spot for the Crimson Tide. In losing to UCLA, I think that was the 3-8 season and Dubos's demise. Nonetheless, a lot of people went to that game. It was the opening game of the season. Everybody was excited about going out to the Rose Bowl. Big Alabama contingent was there. So I'm with a group of people, and we're watching Auburn play Wyoming on a Thursday night. Alabama played Saturday. Auburn's playing Thursday against Wyoming, watching the Auburn game. We're in one of our friends' rooms watching the game, and I say, hey, man, I don't want to have to go down to the lobby bar. Can I just get one of your beers out of your honor bar, and I'll pay for it. I'll replace it. Yeah, man, don't worry about it. No sweat. So I go in there and reach for a Budweiser. I pop the top off. I take a sip, and I say, take another sip. And I say to myself, man, anybody know what the alcohol content is in California? It must be the weakest of any state in the union. There's hardly any taste to this beer. Take another sip, and I'm thinking, oh my God, this isn't beer, it's water. What had happened is the guy that had been in the room prior to us drank the beer, filled it back up with water, put the top back on it, and stuck it in the honor bar. I've also heard of people that'll get those mixed nuts, cut the bottom out of it, eat the nuts, and put the can back in the honor bar. So, yes, if you move it, you have paid for it. So
They got smart. They finally
do not touch anything
anything
in the honor bar.
Hacks to get around the honor bar.
I do not touch the honor bar. And, I tell you, to me, you got to be desperate. You got to be in such a bad shape that, A, you'll pay $10 for a Coke, or you're just too lazy or hungover to go down to the lobby and get one. I mean, really? Can you not go to the lobby and get that Coke or that can of nuts? I've never understood the honor bar deal. To me, it's just taking up space.
It's just a racket.
I'd rather have a regular coffee machine in there than all that type of stuff, but nobody's asking me about that. All right, so SEC tournament basketball, we know what's going on today. Gurn has told you he does not think Auburn will get into the NCAA tournament. I'm leaning more that way as well. I know there was a lot of talk. It seems to change each and every day. You hear what Joe Lunardi's got to say about it. I wonder, do you think they factor in, well, this team made the Final Four last year. I know it's a completely different team than the one that made the Final Four. But there's always been this, theory that if you're on the borderline, if you're on the bubble, so to speak, and you were a Final Four team the year prior, that's going to give you a little bump. You think that's the case?
I think back in the day, yeah, because it was programs. Now it's year to year. I mean, you're rolling over rosters. Everybody's rolling over a roster.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think, look, the body of work's not there. It was fine early in the season, but my God, look at the last 10 games. Look at the last 12 games. It's terrible. And, they're not playing well. And I was talking to a booster yesterday when I was in Opelika, and I said, well, what do you think about Stephen Pearl's situation? And they said, oh, they love Stephen. It'll be great and all that. And I said, I don't know. I said, it will depend. Can he go out and build another team next year? Because if he can't build another team, because they're really riding a high from the last few years, if that drops off, then you're Mississippi State. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you're not, if you don't get talent, and, I personally think a lot of those kids, Jabari Smith, all the others, they went to Auburn because of one thing. They didn't go because of Stephen Pearl. Now he coached them up, and he's a hell of a good coach. They went for Bruce. Bruce got them in the league. All those guys that are in the league are because of Bruce. And he went over and got them back in the day. He got them to come from Georgia to Alabama, to East Alabama. And, we'll see if he can do the same. We see if Stephen can do the same. And it's,
do you think Auburn would be in a different position record-wise today if Bruce was the coach?
Oh, you know what? I think Auburn would be a 3 seed right now.
Wow.
In the SEC tournament.
Man.
In the SEC tournament.
Yeah.
I think they'd be a 5 seed in the NCAA. I mean, you got to ask a question. Why? Why do you leave when you do? A, I don't think he thought he had that good a team coming back. B, it was able for him to get his son in without having to do a coaching search, because you can't do one that late in the process. So,
So wait a minute. You're thinking that one of the reasons Bruce didn't come back is because he didn't think he had a good enough team, similar to the year he volunteered not to go to postseason.
It goes and comes, but
comes and goes. Depends on how you look at it. Yeah.
When how many coaches other than the coach at Virginia have left a team that was better than what they had before? If you have another chance to make the ride, you don't leave. You milk it for that one last year until it turns. And you look at that team, I mean, they're fine. They're an okay team, but there are a lot of decent teams, and they're not special. They can't. You look at them. There's nothing special about them. They don't have a big guy that can do it. Keyshawn Murphy's their best player. No matter who you say, you can say Pat, whatever. Keyshawn Murphy is their best player, and he's
better than Pettiford.
Really well. But the rest, they've got some nice players.
Yeah.
But
I hear so much about Tahad Pettiford.
Tahad will not be at Auburn. My take is he will not be at Auburn next year.
Yeah.
He'll either go try and get drafted, or he'll cash a check somewhere else, maybe in the Big 12 or something like that, to try and rehabilitate him. I mean, they say he would have been drafted last year if he'd have gone. And they cut him a good check, and he stayed. And it did not pay off for him this year.
No, it did not. Can you decline an invitation from the NIT? I know Alabama did it years ago under David Hobbs.
Oh yeah. You do not have to accept it. It's just like other, excuse me, other programs, bowl games and things like that. No, you don't. It's purely an invitational. Thus the name National Invitational Tournament. I mean, it's an invite. You can accept it. You can use it as a plus, or you can poo-poo it and say it's not worth your time.
Yeah.
And
I don't
know.
I'm with you. I just, from things that we're hearing and seeing both on and off the court, to me, I'm saying let's just, wash the uniforms and roll the balls back into the equipment room, and let's get ready for next year, because there is going to be some turnovers, going to be some new faces on this Auburn team. I think you start preparing for next year and don't worry about this year. when you're one of the few teams in the history of college basketball that makes the Final Four and the next year you don't make the NCAA tournament. Can't imagine there's many teams like that's ever happened to, many programs.
Well, there's one factor, John, you may take into consideration, and I forget how I think Auburn's spring break's usually a week before the traditional AEA and all that. And if spring breaks next week and the students aren't there, that place will be empty.
Yeah, it will. You're right. And I believe everybody's spring break. I know my two boys, it started yesterday about 12 noon. So they're heading out, as a matter of fact, this morning. So, yeah, spring break.
Well, they could have band day for an NIT game, and they could actually put the curtain up, bring the curtain over from Beard Eves.
Man, you jumped the route on me. I was going to bring the curtain back up. Yeah. Well, we'll see how it goes with Auburn in their postseason. But Alabama's still alive. They play their first game tonight in Nashville against Ole Miss. Shouldn't be much of a problem. Was not overly impressed with the Rebels or the Bulldogs last night in that game. Of course, the winner went on to take on Alabama tonight. That was Ole Miss. Okay, I'm here in Prattville at Stivers Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Barry is is traveling with Troy Athletics today. Gurn Jr. Hopping in with us today, pinch hitting. We greatly appreciate that. And here at Stivers CDJR, they are Alabama's #1 volume CDJR dealership for all of 2025, and they're going to continue that on into 2026. New 2025 Jeep Grand Cherokees, Grand Cherokee L, and Gladiators, all up to $15,000 off MSRP or 0% APR for 60 months. On the Grand Cherokee L, and the Gladiator. Also, new 2026 Jeep Wranglers up to $13,000 off MSRP or 0% APR for 60 months. Just a few of the many examples here going on of great deals that you can check out. And look, this isn't, 4 or 5 they're trying to move off the lot. This is every vehicle here at Stivers CDJR because they are loaded with vehicles. Chryslers, Dodge, Jeep, Ram. They've got them here for you in the front of the dealership, on the sides, in the rear of the dealership. They are everywhere here for you to check out. The sales associates are the best in the business, and Price sells cars here at Stivers CDJR in Prattville. Alabama's #1 volume CDJR dealership is right here in Prattville. Let's take a quick break. More on this Friday edition of Longshore and McKnight. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Back right after this.
You're not buying sticks, stems, and pine cones. You're buying premium long-diddle pine straw from River Region Straw. Kenny and his staff have access to the best pine straw in the River Region, full of color that will last all season long. Kenny has locations in Montgomery, Prattville, and Auburn, and no order is too big or too small, from a few bales to an 18-wheeler trailer load. Pickup is available, or your order can be delivered. They can even spread your pine straw if you like. So call or text Kenny today, 669-5959. That's 669-5959 for all of your pine straw needs.
It doesn't matter if you're running drills at the park, playing pickup on a Saturday, or sinking the final putt. When you compete with your friends with Michelob Ultra on the line, competition isn't that friendly. The trash talk, next level, and the stakes, oh, those are crystal clear. With only 95 calories and superior smooth taste, it's the ultimate trophy. Superior is worth playing for. Michelob Ultra, superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2025, Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
The Destin Connection Seafood Market at 3750 Norman Bridge Road in Montgomery has the freshest seafood direct from the Gulf of America. I'm talking red snapper and grouper, all sizes of Gulf shrimp, jumbo lump crab meat and crab claws, Louisiana Bay oysters, and New Bedford scallops. They are a full-service seafood market and kitchen serving po' boys, dinners, and sandwiches. Many well-known restaurants in the River Region purchase their seafood from the Destin Connection because they know it's the absolute best. Call ahead and your order will be ready for pickup. The Destin Connection Seafood Market, 3750 Norman Bridge Road. Call 288-4272. That's 288-4272.
Okay, welcome back in, everybody. So glad you're ready. You're here with us today on this Friday. I'm live at Stiver CDJR in Prattville. On Sunday, the brackets will be released. We'll know the teams that are in, where they're playing, who they are playing. That is your cue to get in your 4 for 4 in the Final Four. That's what we got going on here. Big contest here with Longshore and McKnight. The 4 for 4 and the Final Four in the NCAA men's basketball tournament. You'll go to longshoreandmcknight@gmail.com. longshoreandmcknight@gmail.com. Give us your 4 teams that you think will make the Final Four and the total number of points scored in the national championship game, which will be played on Monday, April the 6th. Submit that to us. 1 entry per person. We can timestamp it. We know where it's coming from. Don't get cute with us. Final 4 teams, total number of points in the championship game. Send it in, longshoreandmcknight@gmail.com. You could be the winner of a 4-carat lab-grown diamond from our friends at Marguerite's Exquisite Jewelry that's valued at around $5,000, but we're promoting it as well over $4,000 because we're trying to keep the theme of 4. Get it? 4 for 4 in the Final Four for a 4-carat diamond that's well over $4,000. See? There you have it. You could be the big winner. 4-carat diamond from Marguerite's Exquisite Jewelry. Get those entries into us beginning Sunday after the brackets are released. You'll have until Thursday, March the 19th, 11 a.m. is the cutoff time because that's when the tournament begins. So you got Sunday night to Thursday, March 11th at 11 a.m. Got to send those entries in. You can be the big winner. Of course, this is brought to you by our good friends at Marguerite's Exquisite Jewelry, Phoenix Physical Therapy, Bama Budweiser, and your Montgomery Regional Airport. Getting better the more you use it. So get in on that. Looking forward to it. The men's NCAA basketball tournament contest. You could be the big winner. Stephen M. Smith, Touchdown Alabama, is going to join us at the top of the hour. Looking forward to getting Stephen's take on Crimson Tide spring football and their basketball game tonight. Ralph Michaels, Wager Talking the Gold Sheet at the bottom of hour number 2. And we'll touch base with our man Brian Reynolds at RTJ Golf in Greenville at Cambrian Ridge for a quick update as well. All right, Gurn Jr. sitting in for Barry today. I know we've talked a lot about Auburn basketball. I'm pretty amazed by where they are right now. Well, what do you think you mentioned some guys you were with yesterday that seem to love Stephen Pearl. I mean, is that just lip service, or do you think they really do?
No, I think they really do. He's he's a very good coach. You're always suspect when it's a coach's child, all that kind of good stuff. I remember when he's a walk-on at UT when Bruce was there. Hard-nosed player and all that.
Hard-nosed and long-nosed as well.
He was I'm not one to cast stones. I live in a glass house. He's a solid guy. Everybody likes him. He's much more serious than Bruce. He's obviously not as charismatic. And so the question becomes, and he's a defensive specialist. The question becomes, can he get the right kind of players to put a team together to be successful? And they know the formula. They've done it for, the last run. But can he do that? And so they'll give him at least 2 years to do that. So look at the record. What is it next year? Do they make
a lot of people have asked this question. Gurn getting a very serious phone call, obviously. A lot of people have asked this question. Would Stephen Pearl have gotten a job anywhere else? You hear about, his father just, positioned it where his son could take over for the program. An interesting time that Bruce left the Auburn basketball program right before preseason camp began. It's not like these players could move on anywhere else. But people have asked that question. Would Stephen Pearl be anywhere else? I don't know. I asked the question earlier, would Auburn be in a better position today if Bruce Pearl was still the coach? I guess. There's no way we'll ever know that. But, yeah, based on his history and his record and his success at Auburn, you got to think some of those games that Stephen lost, that Auburn and Bruce would be able to win them. I think that would have been the case. But I don't know. Gurn, I asked the question before you slipped off there for a second. Would anybody else have hired Stephen Pearl as their head basketball coach last year?
You can ask the same question with the new football coach at Ole Miss. Would Ole Miss have hired their football coach but for the situation?
Well,
would he have gotten the job if the timing had been different? And look, Bruce is
he's not Lane Kiffin's son, and
no, but he's the D coordinator that caveman football coach who look. We'll see how he does this year, but people weren't clamoring him for an SEC job that opened up. So I think that's the same kind of deal. I think Stephen is in a great spot. He has the opportunity. He has the resources. If he can make it happen, I think they'll give him 2 years to watch and see how the program's trending. But Auburn basketball is too important now. God, I can't even believe I said that. Auburn basketball is too important that they can't let it slip. They've got the facilities. The Neville Center is the best. It's the best place to watch a basketball game in the SEC, in my opinion. It's that good because when it's lit, it's small. It's the kids are on top of you. It's a great environment. So I think they'll give him 2 years, and then we'll see. And then do they go out and if it works out, he'll be there a long time. They'll go get, they'll find somebody else. So
do arenas really make that big of a deal? When I hear people talk about Neville Arena, and I always go back to Cameron Indoor, and I'm thinking, arenas are for the fans. I don't think the players really care.
No, I say
in this
Neville's
NIL deal,
a 5-point difference in a game. It's that good. They're that loud. The way you sit, everybody's on. It's like an opera house. You sit high and on top of things, and the noise just reverberates. And there's not that many people there. It's like 10? I don't know what it is, 10 or 12. 10.
Yeah.
And
a little under 10, I believe.
It is fantastic. They're brilliant. Look, Coleman is a big old barn. They've been trying to get rid of it, but can't do it. And so we're stuck with it. And,
airplane hangar.
It's a hangar. It's not as bad as some other places. There's a lot of other bad places too. So.
Yeah. All right, let me ask you this. Our friend Bill from Baltimore brings this up today. Bill, thanks for chiming in. Excited to see where Troy ends up and who they draw. I'd love to see them play a big boy. I heard Joe Lenardi say Troy will face Alabama in round 1. Your thoughts about that, knowing the history that Alabama basketball has with in-state schools in postseason?
We don't want to mention the Jaguars of South Alabama. That's still a Cedric Hodge and all that. There's still some hurt feelings there. So I was listening to an interview with Coach Cross on ESPN Radio, or Sirius or whatever it was, and he had some very interesting. They asked him, said, "Coach, how do you build your program? Based on the fact that I didn't know, I forgot this. Their top 4 players left in the portal. I knew one did go to Indiana and another went to West Virginia. Their top 4 players, and they're like, so do you just go out the portal and get at some other people? And he said we got 1 or 2, but we took 4 through 13 and invested in them. And they have done it. He's succeeded. He's been there, since 17 or 18 or 19? He's been there like 7 or 8 years.
Yeah.
And had a great run. Barry would never answer this question. You asked me, we talked about it the other day, I think,
I did. I asked him, yeah.
Is he there next year? And if you're honest, you can't say. They ask him that question, and you can tell. So coaches give these stock answers. You've heard them. I mean, it's just the same old answer. He gave the same old answer when asked it, are you going to be at Troy next year? He said, I'm focused on this team. There you go. That tells you, look, you mentioned, I think, were you the one that mentioned Georgia Tech? I mean, there'll be other.
Yeah, Georgia. See, Brent Jones, the former AD at Troy, is now at Georgia Tech. He's not the athletic director, but he's in the athletic department and high-ranking official there. I can see that. I mean, obviously, Brent knows what Scott's all about and what he's made up of. And unfortunately, for programs like Troy, if you're successful, it's a stepping stone. We saw it with John Summerall, who's at Tulane and now at Florida. We saw it. Why can't I think of his name? He went to West Virginia from Troy.
Neil Brown.
Neil Brown, yes. So I can see that. I mean, this guy's won back-to-back Sun Belt titles, which that's not easy to do.
Yeah, but he's got to go to a town that has a Waffle House. So.
Well, there's plenty in Atlanta. I can promise you that. There are plenty of Waffle Houses in Atlanta, so that won't be a problem.
So it was interesting to hear him. The commentator said, Coach, tell me about Troy. Tell me about Troy, Alabama. And he said, he talked about all the sports do well there. As you know, every program does extremely well and has had success. He said it is the perfect place for a student athlete that is serious about getting better because he said you don't have all the nightlight and the frou-frou stuff.
Yeah.
Which basically says, it's Troy, Alabama. We all know Troy, Alabama. I grew up in Ozark. I mean, we looked up to Troy because that's where we used to go to the college to do bad things in high school.
Sure.
So, and the second thing he said, which was fascinating, he says, we're gonna have our show on Sunday, watching the selection show, and we're gonna be at Baumhauer's, and I'm gonna have some lemon pepper wings.
Oh, so I like those.
You think Baumhauer, the plug he made for Baumhauer's on national radio, I think he doesn't have to pay for those wings. What do you think?
No, I'm with you there. I don't think he's paying for them at all. Interesting. There again, I don't know who else is in the running for Georgia Tech, but I think it's obvious you can't argue with the success that Scott Cross has had at Troy. And there again, Brent Jones knows what he can do. I could see that being a possibility. We will see. But to the original question, Troy and Alabama in a first round matchup, how would you feel about that?
I refuse to answer that question because it depresses me greatly. I'm excited about the NCAA tournament. I don't want it to turn out to be a vendetta against Alabama. Well, you know what? After the Bediako fiasco, the NCAA is probably looking to stick it to Alabama. And how do you stick it? You stick it by I thought they would stick it by giving them a bad seed, but Alabama's played better the second half. So they can't really do that. But they could stick it by doing a Troy. I guess it'd be Tampa. I don't know where they're talking Tampa. I don't know where it would be. That would be brutal. Now I will say we probably match up okay with them. I think it's not a bad matchup. They don't have a big guy that would dominate, which I think that's what we usually struggle with, like Florida and others. So it wouldn't be a horrible matchup, but you don't want to see it because,
No, I'm with you. I don't know if I'd want to see it either, but it would be very, very interesting. And as I touched on, Alabama does not have any success against in-state teams in postseason. UAB came into Coleman and beat Alabama in an NIT game. I'm sure Wimp is still griping about that. And, of course, no, it was Wimp that played South Alabama. I believe David Hobbs played UAB. Both of them beating the Crimson Tide in postseason. All right, I see our man Stephen M's in the green room. We're going to take our top of the hour timeout. And when we return, our man Stephen M. Smith, touchdown Alabama. We're going to talk some spring football and some Tide basketball with Stephen M. when we return. I'm live at Stivers Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Prattville. Gurn Sr. sitting in for Barry. He was traveling with Troy today. Back with more right after this quick timeout.
It's Ram Truck Month at Stivers, Alabama's #1 volume CDJR dealer. New Rams $20,000 off or 0% for 6 years, and heavy duties $12,000 off. Backed by Ram's 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty. Only at Stivers, Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. The Declaration of Deal sales event is on at Stivers, Alabama's #1 volume CDJR dealer. Grand Cherokees, Grand Cherokee L's, and Gladiators up to $15,000 off, and Wranglers $13,000 off. Only at Stivers, Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram.
Hey, where's the beer guy? Bud Light here? You get a Bud Light? Bud Light? I'm here, Bud Light. Bud Light here? Bud Light here? Bud Light here? Bud Light where? Bud Light here? Oh, Bud Light there. I missed that because of you. You did not miss that play because of me. Tough to stop talking this way? Yeah. It's actually kind of fun. Hey, I got your Bud Light. Oh, nice. Never mind. Anything for the clean, crisp taste of Bud Light. What'd I miss? I have no idea.
Don't miss your chance to win big at Victoryland Casino. Play the latest, hottest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. Don't miss out on your free play. Stop by Player Rewards today and check out this month's exciting free play promotions. Come see why our players keep coming back. You'll have more fun at Victoryland Casino, where you can be a winner too. Victoryland Casino, located off I-85 exit 22, Shorter, Alabama. Must be 21 or older.
Okay, welcome back in, everybody. Glad you are with us here today. A couple of minutes past the top of the hour. And as I mentioned, our man Stephen M. Smith joining us here today on the program from Touchdown, Alabama. Stephen, welcome in, my friend. I hope you're doing well.
Doing great, guys. How are you feeling this morning?
Man, we are feeling fantastic. Gurn Sr. is sitting in for Barry today, who's traveling with Troy. So he's going to be hopping on with us today as well. But Stephen M., when it comes to spring football, we had to come to you. Alabama's been through 3 practices. Their 4th is today before they break for the holidays, I believe. What are you hearing? What have you seen?
Well, right now, I mean, guys, just the energy and the juice in Tuscaloosa this spring has been phenomenal. I mean, first off the bat, the offensive line. And this has been something that, Alabama fans have been talking about, that you haven't had a good offensive line in almost 6 years. It's a long time.
Yeah.
And for Ryan Grubb, after having the 20-minute press conference from taking the board, I think on Tuesday, offensive coordinator Ryan Grubb said, stand aside. I'm going to answer all of these questions in about 6 minutes. And he does. And he takes the first question on the offensive line, and he basically tells Alabama fans, look, you guys got 2 positions nailed down. And it's amazing when you're an Alabama fan, you can look at, okay, we're 3 practices into spring ball, and we already know who our offensive tackles are. That's a good sign. I mean, Ryan Grubb starts off with saying, hey, left tackle, there's no competition. That's Jackson Lloyd's job. And a big job by him, the young man, 6'7", 315-pounder. That's his job. And on the right side, Michael Carroll, he's got right tackle. So that's huge right there. Both of your tackles are already penciled down. And at center, you got the young man, Racing Delgatti, the transfer from Cal Poly. Looks like he's about to knock up the center spot. So that's 3 spots already nailed down spring practice. So the offensive line, Adrian Clem, coming over from USC, former 3-time Super Bowl champion with the Patriots. He's already starting to make a name for himself coming in as the offensive line coach, replacing Chris Kapilovic. So offensive line out the gate. If you're an Alabama fan, you're thinking, okay, this Clem guy's coming in here and is already solving some stuff early in spring ball here on the biggest position, in my opinion, when you talk about the offensive line.
Well, Stephen M., you're right about that. I mean, we all saw the Alabama offensive line last year. They had their problems. And when, 4 new guys are coming in, I mean, my feeling was, well, that's the good news, not the bad news based on what we saw last year. I think 4 new faces is going to be a big positive.
I think so. I mean, you got 4 new faces hungry. They want to get after it. They've taken to the weight room, the nutrition staff extremely well. You've got a new coach in here in Adrian Clem. Once again, 3-time Super Bowl champion as a player, played under Bill Belichick. He knows how winning is supposed to look. He knows how elite play, physical play, dominant play is supposed to look. And then you add in a Richard Owens, who's a tight ends coach, but he has so much offensive line experience to boot. You put both of those 2 guys together, now you really get a front line that is going to know how it's supposed to look, how physicality is supposed to be played out there on the field. And it's always refreshing to get a better set of eyes on a positional unit to see how can we make it better, right? How can we make it more physical? And Ryan Grubb spoke yesterday. We got to be able to run the football. We looked at what we did last year, how limited we were, how much of a lack of a run game that we had, and that was part of the reason why Ty Simpson got beat up the back half of last season. You had no run game, and everything was placed on that young man's shoulders. So in working in a young new quarterback, whether it's Austin Mack, whether it's Keelan Russell, you have to run the football. You got to. There's no choice in that. And to have a fresh set of eyes, they're going to be able to do that.
Stephen M., I think we asked you this question last year during the season when you joined us. I've been following Alabama football since Johnny Musso, the Italian stallion, number 22, was carrying.
That's a long time.
You got that right. When he was carrying.
Those were tearaway jersey days.
Tearaway jersey days, that's right. Every year, Alabama's had a bell cow go-to number 1 running back. Stephen M., they didn't have that last year, in my opinion. Will they have a running back of that caliber, the go-to guy in the backfield for this offense this fall?
I think they will, and he's on campus. 5-star E.J. Crowell. That guy is special. I'll say this. He's the most special I've seen since Najee Harris. He's that good.
Wow.
I'm talking that good. I'm talking about 5-star from Jackson High School in Alabama. The guy's got it all. Speed, power, vision, contact balance, explosiveness. He's got all of it. And then some. We're talking about a legit 4.3 speed guy with power to boot with that. I mean, the guy is unreal. And Ryan Grubb's like, hey, he's had a phenomenal spring thus far. I know he didn't work much yesterday. He's got some soft tissue things he's dealing with, nothing major. They're just erring on the side of caution. They'll get him back, once Alabama gets back from spring break. But the guy is E.J. Crowell, but he's in a room full of competition, John.
Yeah.
Daniel Hills dropped weight. He's now 238 pounds as opposed to 244 last year. He's more subtle. He's more quick. He's a bit more explosive. He's got a bit more burst in the jump cut. So Daniel Hill's looking better. Kevin Riley has added a bit more burst coming out of the cuts there. So this running back room's getting a bit more competitive. These guys are understanding, hey, we got to be able to create for ourselves too. We can't just depend on the offensive line creating the lane, though that's important. But we got to be able to create even when a big enough lane is not there. So the running back room has taken on that challenge of we got to create off the jump. And while E.J. Crowell, I think he's the star, the next level talent in that room, Daniel Hill, Kevin Riley, and A.K. Deere, they understand we got to get this done for ourselves also. So this running back room, very, very competitive heading into to A-Day and heading into next season.
Stephen M., the $1 million question, maybe literally the $1 million question, who will be the starting quarterback this fall for Alabama?
Right now, my favorite is Austin Mack, just due to the size at 6'6", 232 pounds. You can't coach that. You either you have that or you don't. He's got the whole experience in that Ryan Grubb, Kalen DeBoer system, 3 years of it now. heading into 3 years of it, which is 2 more years up on Keelan Russell. But when you look at Key Russell, the question is going to be how much more confident is he spitting out and diagnosing his offense? Because if he can spit it out and diagnose it faster than Austin Mack, I mean, look out, because the physical God-given tools this young man has as a 2-time state champion in high school down there in Duncanville, Texas, former Gatorade Player of the Year, former Elite 11 competitor. The guy's uberly gifted. Austin Mack is in the lead right now because of the experience he's got within the system, and he was the primary backup behind Ty Simpson last year for a reason. When Simpson got pulled against Indiana at the Rose Bowl due to an injury, it was Austin Mack that got the call there to come in. So Mack has the edge now, but we're going to start seeing here in these scrimmages coming up soon, how much has Key Russ really learned? Because if he's taking that jump to where I can process and spit it out better than Austin Mack, then Key Russ is your guy. But right now, Austin Mack slightly the early favorite due to that experience.
So, Steven, tell me this. Give us the lowdown on the reset with number 2, now number 1, and now with new name and number change. What's the skinny on all that?
The skinny on all that is Ryan Coleman Williams now wants to leave his legacy of I'm the man at Alabama. And it was a tough year for him last year, let's be honest. He struggled with drops. He struggled with having a concussion last season. He was not necessarily himself. Probably a lot of that NIL and exterior pressure of trying to please everybody on him last year. Now he's back to having fun. He's back to embracing, the fun of the game, the excitement of the game, and having Derek Nix come over as the wide receivers coach, providing that reset also has been very good for him. But the biggest thing is he wants to get back to having fun playing football, and the name change was honoring his mom. His parents had him young, so he already had his dad's last name, but having that Coleman, his mother's last name, he equated his mom to that. That's his best friend. That's his road dog right there. So having that love for his mom, paying that homage to his mom, very special right there for him because of how much of an impact his mother has had on him. But I think even bigger than that, he wants to leave behind that legacy of, hey, there have been some great ones to come to this program at wide receiver. I'm the next one. And he wants to solidify himself in being that guy. And Ryan Grubb talked about it. Hey, we know how electric he is. We got to do a better job as coaches. Get the ball in this man's hands. If we can't get it to him down the field, hey, find a different way creatively to put the ball in number 1's hand and let that joker go to work. We saw him at Saraland High School just completely dominate and take the world by storm. We saw him as a freshman in Alabama take the world by storm. We know how electric this guy is. For him, it's locking in. And for this coaching staff, hey, find creative ways, put the ball in his hands, and let him go to work.
Steven, let me ask you this. Looking at the new era, we know what college football is now. We kind of look at it. What's the success for a kid who's making that much money to be able to handle all the exterior stuff, the external stuff? That's a big – you're 19, 20 years old. They used to say you're just dealing with 19, 20, but now you're dealing with 19, 20 years old guys who are making definitely 6 figures, a lot 7 figures. How do you handle that? That's a lot.
It's a lot. And I think the biggest thing first and foremost is, do you have the home family structure that that keeps you grounded? And the big thing with Ryan Williams is he has that structure with his mom and dad to keep him grounded. Number 2, I feel like Bama's got the coaching staff around him to keep him grounded. I looked at Kalen DeBoer, the first presser, guys. His face now, it's not a whole lot of smiling now for Kalen DeBoer. I think he understands the expectation of what's going into year 3 and what's expected of him to win, and not just win, but really elevate that. And I think Ryan Grubb understands that expectation. The whole program gets it now. The fan base, the boosters, the donors, everybody around that program is like, hey, you're in year 3. What's the expectation in year 3? We got to see some winning. We got to see some winning at a high level. We got to see the push of how closer are we to winning hardware. I'm talking championship hardware. We're talking SEC championship hardware. We're talking college football playoff hardware. The coaching staff gets it. These players, and especially Ryan Coleman Williams, gets it. But just getting back to Ryan, how do you handle that? You handle that first off by having the homegrown value of my parents understand that I'm in this situation and they're helping me out with this. I have coaches understanding the situation. They're helping me out with this. But I also have teammates that understand this situation and they're helping me as well. So it's a whole village mentality.
Stephen M. Smith, Touchdown Alabama, joining us here this morning on the program. Let's talk about the defense, Stephen M. Who's the alpha dog? I mean, is this defense going to be nasty? That's a term we heard under Nick Saban's defenses. You didn't want to face them. They were all over the field, very athletic. You had that alpha dog. Who is that guy going to be, and what's his defense going to be like?
Well, first and foremost, I think the alpha dog is going to be Yanze Pierre. That's your alpha dog right there. The cousin of Courtney Upshaw.
Oh, boy.
Bama legend, former Bama national champion. Pierre looked like Upshaw last year. We talk about 8 sacks when they had the team, 14 and a half tackles for loss they had the team, popped out 9 quarterback hurries. Pierre could have went pro after last year. Chose to come back, which is huge roster retention by Kane Womack. We also roster retention in this NIL transfer portal era, just as big as freshman recruiting. And transfer portal recruiting is retaining the current guys on your roster. And Pierre talked about it. Hey, we got to get back to show enough winning. And we got to get back to show enough dominating out there in the field. And Pierre said, hey, we know what the time is. We're out here working right now. Nobody's lacking right here. We all are hungry right now for that piece of pork chop now. We all want it right now. And so Yanze Pierre gets it. He understands that. He is the alpha dog of his team. Now, the question's going to be, Barry, is what's going to be, John, is who steps up to help him, right?
Yeah.
That's the question in terms of pass rushers. And the interesting thing that King and the board mentioned is the blend of the bandit wolf position, which is the blend of the two terminology roles in terms of field side defensive end / jack rush linebacker, right? Because you've got some guys that have so much flexibility and versatility. You want to get so many guys on the field that can rush the passer well to where Kane Womack doesn't have to blitz in this 4-2-5 system as much as he did last season. So this is why you have guys like Justin Hill who can get on the field more. This is why you have guys like Adez Umezola coming over from South Carolina that can get on the field more. Guys like, Jamarian Matthews at a high school that can get on the field. Fatu Toa Henry that followed King and the board from Washington to Alabama, who's trying to get on the field more. Like, there's several different guys who Bama's trying to mix and match here to get these more so pass rush, edge rushing packages. It's going to be fun to see who rises. Even on the defensive line, when you talk about, yes, you lose a T.M. Keenan and L.T. Overton to the NFL, and you also a James Smith, a Quay Russo, a Keon Keeley, a Jordan Renard, a Kelby Collins, the transfer portal. But you bring back a London Simmons, who's a big factor up front. You bring back a Jeremiah Beeman, who was injured last year. He's ready to jump back in there and snatch it back this upcoming season. You bring back a Steve Bono Mballmola, who could be very, very intense on that defensive front. You have an Isaiah Faga back. You got some guys. And for Freddie Roach, you've got some transfers like a Devin Tompkins who comes over from USC, a Terrence Green coming over from Oregon. you've got some dudes. So in the case of Freddie Roach, it's can you pop them out? And some of these guys are guys that you don't necessarily expect to see pop, but can Freddie grow up some men before is the big question. So I think the biggest thing defensively is you have a secondary. That secondary is the most experienced group you got. And how good can this secondary be? Because you bring back Xavier Brown, you bring back Dijon Lee, you've got Red Morgan back at that Husky spot, you got Bray Hubbard and Keon Sabb both back at safety. So that's your most experienced position. And that's the position to be really pumped up about. But this defensive front has a shot to be really good. This group can be nasty. It's just who can be popped out to want it on the field. And that's the excitement of spring practice. And that's what we're going to figure out. Who's popping it out there on the field. And we should hear pretty soon here as practice continues from Kane Womack soon, and to get his thoughts on who's really starting to show up.
All right, before we let you go, Stephen M., we got to ask you, what about this Alabama basketball team? They face Ole Miss tonight in Nashville, their first game of the SEC tournament. Ole Miss has a couple under their belt. What do you think happens to the remainder of the tournament in Nashville and your projection for their success in the NCAA tournament?
I'm telling you, if these guys can hit the three ball the way they've been hitting it down the stretch here, whoo, boy. Because, I mean, Thongon's been hitting it. Aiden Holloway's been hitting it. Latrell Wrightsell. I mean, the Amari Allen. Like, if these guys can continue hitting the three ball the way they've been hitting it, it's about to be lights out for opposition here in this tournament. But what I've been enjoying here, John, is the defense stepping up there. They're creating steals. They're creating turnovers. They're making plays there on that side of the basketball. And I know what happened to Charles Bediako, what happened to Chucky. The NCAA, they got to get a handle on this thing. They really, really do. What happened in that situation was not what Nate Oates wanted there, but how Alabama has rose to the occasion, has stepped up despite that situation, has been big there on the part of the Crimson Tide. So for me, if they can continue to shoot that three ball well, but most importantly, play well defensively and continue to get to the free throw line, work in that paint, get to the free throw line. This is going to be a very fun tournament here, for these guys. It's been fun to watch.
Yeah, it really has, Stephen M. It's amazing. People nowadays, hey, I can't go tonight because I got to watch the basketball game. That wasn't always the case, but Bama fans.
It wasn't, but give Nate Oates so much time. That's being hired. We're talking multiple SEC regular season titles, multiple SEC tournament titles, getting this team to the Sweet 16, the Elite Eight, the Final Four. We once talked about, hey, only Nick Saban can get them drafted. Nate Oates has gotten some boys drafted, whether it's been the Herb Joneses, the John Pettys. I mean, he's gotten some kids drafted, the Brandon Millers. Nate Oates is getting some kids drafted. So it's not just a football program. It is a basketball program, not just on the men's side, but on the women's side. Give Christy Curry some love, too. On the women's side, the women have been hooping out here. So it's been a full program when you talk about Alabama athletics.
Hey, John, can we talk? Hey, John, can we talk to Greg Byrne about getting Stephen M to do the hype video for the
Man, I tell you, no doubt about it. Stephen M. is love the enthusiasm, Stephen M., and the information and analysis second to none. Man, we really appreciate your time as always. Before we let you go, though, let our viewers and listeners know how they can follow you and find out more about what you're doing.
Well, guys, back with Touchdown Alabama magazine here. Doing some content back here for these guys. It's touchdownalabama.com. Here we're getting the spring content rolling out here. The guys, as you mentioned, John, is their final day of spring practice before they take a spring break here and come back and get set to continue with spring ball in the A-Day game coming up on April 11th. So that's going to be fun right there. But touchdownalabama.com, the site that you can check out for all the articles, videos, all the content to get yourself energized in terms of spring practice. And then we got the YouTube channel there, Touchdown Alabama Magazine, right there on YouTube. Tons of videos there, tons of information there from the video perspective. just getting all the fans excited about, hey, spring football's good, but fall will be right around the corner soon. And when that comes back in, it's time to get back jumping.
Yep, it is. You're right about that. He's on top of it. Stephen M. Smith, touchdown, Alabama. Stephen, thank you so much for your time. Greatly appreciate it. We'll be checking in again with you real soon.
Hey, take care, you guys. Hey, appreciate you guys having me this morning.
Thank you, buddy. Great
Good
content
day.
as always. Man, what about that enthusiasm, Gurn?
And he's probably not even had the 2 cups of coffee that we require for us to get that
yeah,
going.
I love it. Outstanding. Man, great stuff. We'll have Stephen M. on again real soon. All right. When we come back, the Phantom's Daily Dog. Who is he going with today or maybe this weekend? We'll see. We'll recap what happened with the Phantom's Dog from yesterday. Also, Ralph Michaels, Wager Talk in the Gold Sheet, slated to join us here as well. We'll check in with Brian Reynolds at Cambrian Ridge down in Greenville later on this hour as well. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Tell all your friends. Tell all your associates. We'd love to get you to spread the word for us. Check us out on Yellowhammer News and yellowhammernews.com, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, X, Spotify, Apple Tunes, wherever you get your podcasts, wherever you view us, wherever you listen to us. We greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much. Quick break. We'll be back right after this.
Known by avid golfers as one of the most beautiful and challenging stops on the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail, Cambrian Ridge in Greenville lies just 40 miles from Montgomery. It is well worth the ride for any golfer looking for 27 holes of jaw-dropping golf. The greens have been redesigned to accommodate the higher green speeds associated with their installation of the latest generation of ultra-dwarf Bermuda grass. Cambrian Ridge offers a fully stocked pro shop with all the latest equipment and apparel. Great food and beverages in the clubhouse can be enjoyed both before and after your round. Get your group together and hit the trail. Go to rtjgolf.com/Cambrian Ridge for tee times and more information. Why Hands? At Hands Heating and Air, you get this area's highest ranked service provider with 24-hour repair service, no overtime charges, and their same-day service guarantee. Plus, instead of other companies' 30-day repair warranty, Hands gives you a 3-year repair warranty. Hands Heating and Air is here for you 24/7, 365. And service is not just something they do, it's their way of operating, for you in mind. All of Hands employees are trained to adhere to this standard. They work hard to ensure that this standard is maintained, and they are constantly looking for new ways to better serve you. Call Hands Heating and Air today at 508-5382. That's 508-5382, or find them on the web at 834hands.com.
Okay, welcome back in, everybody. Glad you're with us here today. I'm live at Stiver CDJR in Prattville, Alabama's #1 volume Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram dealership for all of 2025, and they're going to continue that on into 2026. Check this out. New 2025 Ram 1500s up to $20,000 off MSRP or 0% APR for 72 months. Also, new 2025 Ram heavy duties up to $12,000 off MSRP or 0% APR for 36 months. Large variety for you to choose from at Alabama's #1 volume CDJR dealership here in Prattville, where price sells cars. Come by and see them. It's marked down madness. Okay, so the Phantom's Daily Dog. I actually watched a little of this game yesterday, Gurn, believe it or not. It took place, and it was in Charlotte, North Carolina, where the Miami Hurricanes were facing the Louisville Cardinal. Miami was a 1.5-point underdog in the game. We took the Hurricanes and the 1.5, and look at that. They win the game outright. 78-73, Miami advances, beats Louisville. How many times when we're recapping the Daily Dog, ladies and gentlemen, do you hear me say, we won the game outright? Didn't even need the points as an underdog. That happened again yesterday with Miami beating Louisville.
Well, you were able to tap in your wealth of ACC historical knowledge to know that was a lot.
Yeah. Well, I'm about to tap into my wealth of knowledge when it involves the Big Ten.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Yep. We're going Big Ten basketball today, ladies and gentlemen, for the Phantoms Daily Dog. This game takes place at 5:30 this afternoon in a Big Ten tournament quarterfinal game between number 18 Purdue taking on number 11 Nebraska. Purdue coming in at 24-8, 13-7 in the Big Ten. Nebraska 26-5 overall, 15-5 in the Big Ten. If you look, ladies and gentlemen, the standings in the Big Ten Conference, everybody knows Michigan's great, 19-1 in the league, 29-2 overall. Want to take any guesses who finished second in that league? You got it, the Nebraska Cornhuskers at 26-5 overall, 15-5 in the league. Where's Purdue? A little bit further down at 24-8 and 13-7, as I mentioned. But Gurn, I don't get it. Nebraska's a 3.5-point underdog taking on Purdue today? No way. I'm taking Nebraska plus the points. I think they can win this game outright. Okay, sure. Purdue did beat them in the regular season in Lincoln. I'll give you that. That did happen, but it's postseason now. It's a totally different game.
So, John, I've been on Nebraska since the early part of the season, and you're going to say, whoa, nobody was on Nebraska. Early. So we have a family friend. I play pickleball with the mother. Listen to this now, the connection. The mother of the head basketball coach at University of New Mexico. He's from Mobile, Alabama. His name's Eric Olin. And they played Nebraska in a tournament early on and lost. And Lobos are first four out. They're right on the bubble, too. They're a very good team. But they got beat by 10 by Nebraska early. And the mom tells me, you got to watch out for these guys. They're that good.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they went 15-0 or something like that. This is the year. So I got you there. I feel good about it too.
Okay, I'm glad you feel that way. We're going to see what our friend Ralph Michaels from Wager Talk and the Gold Sheet has to say about it. Ralph joining us, he does each and every Friday. Ralph, Barry is traveling with Troy Athletics today, so we have Gurn Senior sitting in pinch hitting today for Barry. But what do you think, Ralph, right out of the gate? What do you think about these Nebraska Cornhuskers?
Well, I am a Nebraska fan, but I'll tell you what, when it gets to this point in the season, postseason experience is so important. And watching Braden Smith on the court last night, I mean, my God, you talk about guards going to lead your team to victory. I think the line is too high. I thought it's a point or two too high, so I can't argue with your play. But, you know, Nebraska's offense has really struggled. In the metrics in the last 3 weeks, they're actually ranked number 160. So that is a concern if they can keep pace with the Purdue Boilermakers.
I hear you. I saw some of those numbers as well. Kind of wondered about that. Hopefully that won't be too big of a factor. All right, conference tournaments are underway. No doubt about it. It's a fun time of year before we get into the NCAAs next week. Obviously, we're focused on the SEC, and Ralph, there's some huge matchups today. As a matter of fact, Gurn is on his way to Nashville. He'll be there for the opener, Kentucky and Florida, then Tennessee, Vandy, Ole Miss, Alabama, Oklahoma, and Arkansas. Your thoughts about today's action in the SEC tournament?
Well, first, you know, last week on the show, remember we talked about Auburn playing Alabama and their starters play the most minutes? How true is that on the regular season final, and how true is that playing back-to-back games, watching them fade against Tennessee late? Those bench minutes are something important to look at when you're playing these back-to-back games. When I look at these games today, I think Florida is too big of a favorite at minus 10.5. This Kentucky team is just loaded with talent, and they're making a run at the right time. Between Vanderbilt and Tennessee, I am actually going to lean Tennessee. I like the way the team's playing. They have revenge. In the last 3 weeks, they have a defensive metric of number 20, a top 20. Vanderbilt's defense down the stretch has struggled at number 85. With Bama, I like Ole Miss. I liked them 2 games ago. I didn't bet them, and I should have. And they took the upset against yesterday. But again, playing a third straight game against this pace, I actually like the over in that game. It is 163.5, so it is a high total. But we know this Bama team is playing with rest against a team that played 2 foes. That has been a strong edge. And in Arkansas, Oklahoma, I went back and forth. I actually lean Oklahoma, so it's a dog day for me. But I will say this. I love to travel. I love going to college stadiums and college arenas. I cannot think of a better place than have the tournament in Nashville and go partying on the streets between the games and before and after. And you walk right out and there's 100 bars right there. To me, it is the absolute prime place to have a conference championship for basketball.
Well, there's a little smell in the air, too. Smell of skunk in the air as well outside of Bridgestone.
Ralph, Gurn spent some time in Nashville. He's a Vanderbilt grad, so he's looking forward to his Commodores today.
Boy, I'll tell you what. Vanderbilt football and basketball the last 2 years was probably no more refreshing story for a Power 4 conference. Indiana, yes, in football, but the transformation they have made, they bought into the process 5-6 years ago. They had some donors. They started upgrading the stadium and doing all those things. And, win or lose, I am just a fan of what the Commodores have done to turn their program around athletically and make them a power in the SEC. But like I said, with that said, I do lean Tennessee in the game. When you look at Vanderbilt this year, it's a situation where when they're playing a top elite defense, a top 40, a top 38 defense, they've split against Tennessee, they've split against Kentucky, they lose to Oklahoma, they lose to Texas, they lose to Florida, they lose to Arkansas. They do struggle when they're playing an elite defense, even though they won that first game 86-82 back in March.
So John, I'll make my Vanderbilt comment globally.
Yeah.
Historically, Vanderbilt refused to cheat, and so they struggled. And they just cashed their SEC check. That's all they did. Now that cheating is the way, not cheating, but just spending money. They can spend money. Yeah. So now it's like it level the playing field for them. So it's that's to me, that's the difference. So
yeah,
that's
the situation is very similar coach wise. Bringing in Binghamton, after he had success at Georgia Southern and after success at James Madison. So we have that same Indiana Hoosier football carryover with the football coach from James Madison. Imagine that. Bennington, the head college football coach at Vanderbilt, up in Hoosierland, he was the coach at James Madison. Imagine what that program was just 2 years ago for the Dukes.
Oh. Look,
crazy.
I tell you,
yeah,
they're going to have to open up the bank vault. This coach is the real deal basketball. He in this era, he is an unbelievable coach with the resources he has. And I think the bigger programs in the Big Ten are coming after him. So we'll see.
Yeah. Ralph, I wanted to ask you about a team like Clemson. They beat North Carolina last night. Now they got to take on Duke. The 2 big heavyweights in the ACC basketball. How does Clemson factor in to face Duke today?
I break it down, and I made the line 10. Duke came 11.5. So right there, it has me leaning a little bit with them. But I'm not going to get the window with any game. I like when a top seed like Duke maybe has a little hangover or they're looking past their foe like they did Florida State. Florida State punched them in the mouth early. Duke had a struggle to get back. To me, that's the thing keeping me from this. Had Duke won by 15 or 20, it's probably opposite what most people think. Had Duke won by 15 or 20 and skated through the game, I would have been on Clemson having to fight tooth and nail those last few games.
Yeah.
But when you have a bully like Duke that got tested to the limit and was struggling and had to come back from behind to win, that to me is a reset for the best team. And that's the only reason I'm not on Clemson tonight.
Ralph, Sunday the brackets will come out. We'll see where everybody's going, who's playing whom. Is there maybe some dark horse teams that you believe are going to make the tournament that our viewers and listeners might need to make sure they've got advancing in their bracket?
Again, the brackets are out, so we don't have to worry about that now. And I really don't look at it. I told you last week, I did a TikTok video when Miami of Ohio was 30-0. And my TikTok video was why the Miami Redhawks will not make the NCAA tournament. And I still truly believe that. They lost in the opening round against UMass.
Yeah,
that TikTok video has over 80,000 views. So if you just Google Wager Talk TikTok, you'll see my picture there. Just click on it. You don't have to be a TikTok subscriber. But I truly think now, I'm actually happy that Lunardi said they're in and a couple other guys. But, when I look at the first four out from Lunardi and I look at the first four in, I would have Miami of Ohio a double-digit underdog to all four of those teams.
Yeah,
and that to me is the true representation. I don't care that they were rated AP 20 in the Ken Palm metrics. They were actually number 89. So, and people say, well, the top 62 teams get in. No, they don't. There are 18 automatic bids, and then the top 38 teams left get in. Miami's nowhere near that. We'll see. I understand the thought about being undefeated. But you know what? We brought it last week, John. I do want to mention this, as I will not be on before the brackets are set.
Yep.
This has worked 22 out of 24 years. The teams that have won the national championship have been a top 3 seed from a major conference, averaged over 73 points, allowed under 73 points, owned an average scoring margin of over 7, has faced a top 75 schedule, and has a coach with at least 5 NCAA appearances and 1 Elite 8 appearance. And they were in the tournament last year, or they have an All-American player. So there are 7 categories. There are only 4 teams that fit every criteria this year: St. John's, Michigan State, Houston, and Kansas. Now, there's 3 more teams I'm going to throw into the mix.
Okay.
I'm going to throw Duke into the mix. Why? Well, their coach has only been there 3 years, but he's taken them to the tournament every year, and went to the title game. So he just hasn't been there long enough, but he has enough experience. I'm going to mention UConn in that mix. UConn falls short on one of the categories, as Hurley's only been to 5. 1 March Madness short, but he won 2 national titles. So I think that's a carryover. And Arizona, Tommy Lloyd's gone to the tournament 4 straight times. He's only been there 4 straight years. So between those 7 teams, I would make sure I have at least a couple of those in my Final Four. And my national championship for the bracket will come from St. John's, Michigan State, Houston, Kansas, Duke, UConn, and Arizona. And I know those are a lot of the chalks, but there's still another 10 chalks that we're taking out of the equation to help us streamline who we like.
Yeah, makes a ton of sense.
Ralph, let me ask Ralph one question. This is totally different, but I'm curious from your perspective. The new Valshi and Poly and those sites, has that impacted the world of online gambling, or how is that playing out?
I missed the first part of the question. My apologies.
The Valshi, is it Valshi and Poly, the things you can futures where everybody's betting billions of dollars on whether this raindrop will fall, on a window.
It hasn't changed sports betting at all, because sports betting is much more structured. That's sort of the wild, wild west. And while it gets a lot of news, I've heard of several people getting burned because there's no recourse if they don't pay you. You can't go over these companies. They're not regulated. So it's nothing I look at or worry about. Money's hard enough to make, let alone trying to bet on something unique and worrying about having to get paid if you win. So, the structure of college basketball clearly has become more popular with the sports betting, and the advent of all these side bets that you can make, live betting during the game. So, and there's also, you have to remember, now that it's legal, we actually have oversight committees that take a look. And I'll just give a weird example. in a UFC match a couple weeks ago. Obviously, they're based in Vegas, and Dana White is a Vegas guy, so they actually canceled the fight 45 minutes before it was scheduled to go that night because they had incredible amounts of bets on one side of an opponent for large amounts. So they just voided the bets, they canceled the fight, and that's the type of oversight we're getting now with gambling. Yes, we still hear occasional stories about someone could throw a game and there might be a person who gets paid. But again, there's a lot of people looking at those kind of things.
Yep, regulated gambling. That's what we're trying to get here in the state of Alabama, Ralph. We hear that term all the time, regulated wagering. Ralph, before we let you go, you can imagine the big topic in these parts. Love to get your thoughts on it. Should Auburn make the NCAA tournament?
No, I don't think they're in. I think that the way they finished the season, their metrics, I don't think they're good enough with their conference record. Had they won a few games in the tournament, at 17-16 and 7-11 in the conference, and you're looking at a defensive metric of 268 in effective field goal percentage. I do not think they're in.
All right, Ralph, let our viewers and our listeners know how they can get more information, how they can follow you, particularly with tournament time here. Our listeners and viewers need to be locked into what Ralph Michaels is up to.
I appreciate it. I finished number 1 at March Madness last year on X at Cal Sports LV. If you want to check out couple TikToks, I also have a TikTok on how hard it is to beat a team 3 times in a season. So that'll be very relevant for the last few weeks. Just go to Wager Talk TikTok and click that. And again, with these games going all day long, and as soon as these games finish, the Wager Talk free live odds page posts the next day's lines as soon as these games go final. So, when you want to see what the Duke Virginia line is going to be tomorrow, or what that Florida line is going to be tomorrow if they beat Kentucky, or the Tennessee Vanderbilt game, what their lines are going to be, head to WT.buzz/odds. And I can't believe next Friday we're going to be talking about round 1 of the tournament. How exciting!
Cannot wait. It's going to be awesome.
Where's the season going?
Yeah, Ralph is.
I have one more thing you have to tell Barry.
Yeah.
Congratulations to Troy for winning the Sun Belt. And I do love what the Sun Belt did. The 1 and 2 seeds basically had 4 byes. They were in the semifinals. And I do like that the conference is really, I would actually like them to give the regular season champ an extra bid to almost put him in the finals. But this was the first time, I believe, in history that a team like Georgia Southern had to play 6 straight games against a team like Troy only playing their 2nd game in the conference tournament, and they just wore out. So congrats to the Sun Belt for doing the right thing, and those teams that worked hard for the regular season, they gave them the extra boost, and they won the Sun Belt tournament.
Yep, we will pass it along, Ralph. I can promise you that. He'll be back next week. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, guys. Have a great weekend.
You too, buddy. Ralph Michaels, Wager Talk, and the Gold Sheet. Great information, as always. We got to take a quick break, and I think Brian Reynolds from RTJ Golf in Greenville going to hop on for just a second before we go to the Gurn Jr. Victoryland 777 topic wheel. I'm at Stivers Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, Alabama's #1 volume CDJR dealership for all of 2025, and they're continuing it into 2026. New 2025 Ram 1500s up to $20,000 off MSRP or 0% APR for 72 months. Get the new 2025 Ram Heavy Duty up to $12,000 off MSRP or 0% APR for 36 months. And both of these vehicles backed by America's best full-size truck powertrain limited warranty of 10 years, 100,000 miles here at Stivers CDJR in Prattville. Quick break. Back with more right after this.
Get Truck Month deals on more than trucks at Stivers Ford of Montgomery. Explorers for $13,000 off. Broncos $12,000 off. Expeditions $10,000 off. And Bronco Sports $9,000 off.
Stivers Ford, where price sells Fords.
Ford Truck Month is bigger and better at Stivers Ford of Montgomery. Take advantage of 0% APR on Super Duties, Lightnings, and F-150s. F-150s, $18,000 off. Super Duties, $2,000 under invoice. And Lightning, $16,000 off.
Stivers Ford, where price sells Fords.
Don't Don't miss your chance to win big at Victoryland Casino. Play the latest, hottest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. Don't miss out on your free play. Stop by Player Rewards today and check out this month's exciting free play promotions. Come see why our players keep coming back. You'll have more fun at Victoryland Casino, where you can be a winner too. Victoryland Casino, located off I-85 exit 22, Shorter, Alabama. Must be 21 or older.
Okay, welcome back in, everybody. Glad you're with us here. Our man, Brian Riddles, he is the director of golf at Cambrian Ridge on the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail, joining us here for a moment. And, Brian, we've got one of the pillars of the Greenville community here with us today, Gurn Sr., hopping on for Barry, who's traveling with Troy. So we got two prominent Greenville citizens here on the program today. How are you, sir? Well, I think we got, we're trying to get him connected. Well, what a lead in as well.
Well, I'll say this, Brian is the preeminent, elected leader, one of the elected leaders of our city. So he is the man. I'm just a visitor. I'm a visitor on nights and weekends.
I understand that exactly. I was driving through Greenville on 65. There's a lot going on in Greenville. I'm going to tell you, the place is hopping.
Well, you need to stop and buy some gas and put some money in our tax coffers. That's the goal.
So what's the deal? Wait a minute. Bates House of Turkey has a turkey vending machine?
Well, you can call in and have it there. Absolutely. Remember, it's turkey is turkey makes you
feel perky.
That's their little catchphrase.
Turkey makes you feel perky.
Perky. That's it.
Yeah. Turkey makes you feel perky. I've never heard of a turkey vending machine, though.
All right,
that's a new one for me.
The Bates, get a plug for Bates.
Okay.
The gobbler. Have you ever had the gobbler?
I don't think I have.
So the gobbler is a turkey dinner on a seeded bun. You get the turkey dressing, gravy, and cranberry on a large seeded bun. It is the bomb.
Next time I go through there, I'm going to get that. I will do that. That's good to know. All right, Brian's going to join us here momentarily. Until he hops on, I think we can probably go over some of the Gurn Jr. Victoryland 777 topic wheel. We have 6 topics today here on the wheel. We do not know what these topics are. We'll be seeing them for the first time, as you will be as well. So what do you say we get Gurn to spin it and see what pops up first? And it's going to be close here. Training up. Training up. What could this be about? Training up. And it's, we just heard about the UFC fighters. Wait a minute. They're going to train FBI agents? Huh. That's interesting.
Not to get political, but isn't there going to be a big UFC fight at the White House?
I believe so. I believe it's going to happen over the 4th of July weekend. There's also going to be a Formula One race through the streets of D.C. For USA 250 as well. I was in D.C. a couple of weeks ago. You might have heard I actually got a tour of the White House. I was kind of scoping out where they're going to be having this fight, where it's going to be taking place. It's going to be a little crowded in there, I think. But we'll see how that plays out. But they are training FBI agents. That's interesting. Really interesting.
All right, what we got? What's the next one?
Well, I don't know if Brian's on there. I think Brian, are you there?
On. Okay.
I think he might be.
Hello,
hey, buddy, how you doing this morning?
Hey, man, I got to spend a little time with your little buddy last night. Big C, baby.
Hey,
man, what happened? What was the occasion?
Man, he live streams all the Fortdale baseball games. So he got over there. I walked over from my house because I'm just across the street. And he'd forgotten his jacket. So he'd sat there 2 hours and he got cold and got stove up and couldn't get in the car. And, asked me if I'd follow him home. And I followed him home, got him in the house and hung out with him for a little while. And, it was good to spend some time with him. I see him every Sunday at church and usually go by and help him get ready for church and get him to church where it's a little easier on him. But man, I tell you, there's not a time that I see him that he doesn't ask. You talk to Talk to big man Longshore.
So, Brian,
well, I love it.
We were at the Presbyterian church one time. My daughter was singing years ago. And so Big C, I guess he probably sits in the same spot, propped up. And he looks over at me and goes, "Hey, big man, what the hell are you doing here?" And I was like, "Big C, we're in church. Come on, man." Oh, man.
I love it.
It's okay.
Well, that's what he got his foot hung getting out of the car, and I had to reach over there and get it. And he started cussing, and he said, "Oh, man, I probably shouldn't cuss in front of a deacon at the church." I said, "We all do it sometime, big man."
Oh, what a great American, Big C. All right, Brian, let's tell us what's going on at Cameron Ridge. The weather is absolutely phenomenal. It's going to be warmer as the day progresses. I know you want our viewers and listeners to come down to Cameron Ridge and see you.
I tell you, this weather has treated us awesome, John. The golf courses are green. They're unbelievable. We've been hosting a ton of events, some light tour, scratch tour tournaments, APT amateur tour. We've done couple of college events. We had Fortdale hosted a golf match here last week. Andalusia High School's got one here Monday. We've just got a lot going on, and the golf courses are in great shape.
I know they are. I know all the new equipment's arriving as well, so our listeners can come down and check out all the new equipment, all the new apparel. The golf shop is loaded.
That's right. We've got the Callaway Quantums, the 4D TaylorMade, any of the new balls, all of our spring golf shirts are coming in from Johnny O to Peter Millar to Straight Down. We've got it all coming in right now, and the shop's getting full.
I sent Mrs. Gurn over to get our trail cards, so don't forget the trail cards.
That's right. It's the greatest deal in golf. Pays for itself the first time you use it.
It is. Use it all year, all through 2026. You'll save a ton of money on the trail card. Great merchandise and equipment, but your golf courses, I'm just telling you, folks, you got to check it out. If it's been a while, you need to go back. It just the beauty of that layout is incredible. I know, Brian, we've talked about it before. You've made some changes. You've done some alterations, some refurbishing on the golf course as well, and it's just made it even better.
That's right. You know, the trail, we're dedicated to keeping the courses in great shape. As you know, we just got the legislator open back up in the fall of last year at Capitol Hill. The judge is closed right now for renovation. We're not scheduled for anything this year, but I'm hearing through our corporate office that we're going to do another little wave of renovation here in 27. We're going to come in and take some trees out that are kind of in play between our cart paths all the way to the fairways, get those out of here, get the roots out of where they play, lay sod, just kind of make it, from cart path to green, just lush and green with grasses where you've got spots to hit. You know, it's impossible to grow grass under trees. So that's going to be a big project we undertake in 27 from what I'm hearing from my bosses. So,
hey,
it's just getting better and better.
Yeah, I can't wait to see how that plays out. For tee times and more information, Brian, for our viewers and listeners to come see you and bring their group down there, tell us how they can get in touch with you.
You can give us a call at 334-382-9787, or you can go to rtjgolf.com, click on the Cambrian Ridge tab, and you can book the time from there.
Thanks, Brian.
Hey, Brian, thank you so much, my friend. We appreciate it. Good stuff. Checking in with Brian Reynolds, Director of Golf at Cameron Ridge down in Greenville. All right, we got more wheel. Let's do it. Spin away. Where is this going to pop up?
Fresh start. Oh, yeah.
We got here with fresh start.
So, did you see
Kyler Murray? Yeah, with the Vikings.
Down,
I saw that yesterday.
Scroll down, Gurn. Did they show a picture?
I thought the Vikings had a quarterback.
I saw a picture when he was a kid. They don't have that in this article. He played Pee-wee football for the Vikings. So it had a picture of him and his Pee-wee picture, which I thought that was kind of ironic and kind of funny. So I don't know. What is he? 28?
Yeah.
I mean, he's
young.
Yeah. And he, look, is he a winner? I don't know. But maybe, you never know. A change of scenery, a fresh start might be good for him. I mean,
might be good for him.
He wasn't doing it in Arizona. We know that.
No, he was not. You're exactly right. He was not. things heading south there in Phoenix. All right, what else we got? 4 more to go. I think we can get them in. 4
we'll
more.
Get them. We got time.
Yeah, we got time. No, exactly.
I don't have a bus to catch.
I hear you.
Clearly bad idea.
Now, wait a minute. How many times have you said that to me since we've known each other over 40 years?
All right. Have you seen this, John? Have you seen what's going on?
No. What's this about?
All right. So they have an LED floor.
Yeah.
That is the floor. Okay. And guess what? It's slippery as hell. And
I bet it is.
Sliding and doing all this stuff. And I will give the Big 12 credit. They're stepping up and saying, we screwed up.
No.
And we're going to change out the floor, and we're just going to have the hardwood, not some kind of LED thing that has sponsors and all that kind of stuff that can pop up. So, kudos to the Big 12 for pivoting. Of course, it's a safety issue. Come on, guys.
Sure. Yeah, that's right. I get it. That's it. I did not see that. That's, in theory, but you don't want that.
It's bizarre. It was a bad idea to begin with. It's still a bad idea.
All right, 3 more to go. We got 3 more to go here on the Gurn Jr. Victoryland 777 topic wheel. Victoryland, exit 22 off I-85, Shorter, Alabama. You can be a winner too. It's going to be hero talk. Hero talk. I hadn't watched a lot of baseball, Gurn. I got to tell you. I mean, we got beat by Italy earlier in the week.
Yeah, that was a snafu. But, Jack Hughes is a stud. That's all you can say. I mean, he is the guy. And you know what? This is, and I hate to steal a phrase, this is his bright, shining moment.
Yes.
And he is taking full advantage of it and elevating Team America, Team USA hockey, but also the NHL and now the World Baseball. So more power to you. And I like, and he needs to parlay that into a ad for Chiclets.
Sure.
So,
I agree. I'm with you. I think
get
so
his
too.
agent involved.
All right, 2 more to go. Let's see what we got here on the Gurn Jr. Victoryland 777 topic wheel. It's the blue and the red panel. We'll spin away and see what pops up.
And not the cousin. Not the cousin.
Wait a minute. For a guy that's got more relatives than anybody I've ever known, Maple Leaves.
Oh, our cousin Austin, which let's see the hit. No.
I'm not sure that was knee to knee. That might have been knee to somewhere else. Ooh.
See,
Gurn, the bad
doesn't understand is we have several Austins in our family. They're just not spelled A-U-S-T-O.
True.
Because I've never seen that spelling.
Gurn,
brutal.
When you take a shot like that near the groin area, when you have ice skates on, you cannot use the phrase, hey, man, just walk it off.
You can't walk it off.
You can't walk it off.
Off.
Just can't walk it off.
I don't have a hockey jersey. I need to get a hockey jersey. And maybe that's the hockey jersey I need is that cousin Austin in the NHL.
Well, you're going to be in Nashville this weekend. Get a Predator jersey.
I can get a Preds with my name on the back.
Yeah.
Right there at Bridgestone. You're right.
Probably cost you $300, but why not?
It would be $300, yes.
All right. Let's spin it to make it official. Got to spin it to make it official. And it is boots are off. I've heard gloves off, but never heard of boots off. Oh, a golden retriever.
Uh-oh. We got an animal video. Let's see the video.
Man, loving the animal video.
There we go. Okay. All right, it's going on. He's gonna skate. All right, dude. What can you do? You got your things on.
I don't think he likes the boot.
Oh, he's gonna go. Oh no! Oh,
boots off. Yeah. Yeah.
He blew out a tire. He blew out all 4 tires.
All 4 tires. That's right. The boots are off.
That's a NASCAR disaster right there.
Oh boy.
Hey, they didn't show him getting back. Getting back would have been difficult.
Yeah. Those claws getting into that ice. Okay, man, what a great Victoryland topic. Will Gurn Jr. put that together for us? Okay, before we go, a couple of things. 4 for 4 in the Final Four. It starts Sunday when the brackets have been released. You see the teams, you see the matchups. That's when you can start entering. Longshore McKnight at gmail.com. That's Longshore McKnight at gmail.com. Your Final Four teams. and the total number of points scored in the national championship game. Submit that to us via email. Put 4 for 4 in the subject box, and we'll have your entry. It'll be time-stamped. We'll know when we got it. You got between when the brackets are released Sunday until 11 a.m. on Thursday, March the 19th, which is the start of the tournament. Your 4 Final Four teams, total points scored in the national championship game. You can be the winner of a 4-carat diamond from Marguerite's Exquisite Jewelry. You got that right. 4-carat diamond.